floor. I had to clean it up. I was 5 minutes late. I get here on the job, and I'm sweating and everything. Do you think we want you standing out in the front of the door? No, we need you in the prayer line. I'm just going to tell you, we need to lay our greasy hands on you till you get friction marks on your forehead and get that thing delivered, because we have to understand that excitement is more than just a feeling, but passion is what is the igniter of excitement. If you show me someone that's passionate, you will show me someone that will succeed. I recently read a study about successful people, and there was 27 different successful multi-billionaires, not millionaires, that they studied their life of. They had two things in common. First thing is they all got up early. That's a sermon in itself. Every one of them got up early. And the second thing, the only other thing they had in common, is that each of them were passionate about the field that they were in. They got up and they ate and they breathed and they slept everything that they were doing. And the reason they were so successful is because passion makes you go a step further when everyone else is taking a step backwards. Yes. And even though I slid that in you, that is so profound in itself to understand. If you have something burning in your heart and you do that, you'll be successful. Somebody say your mission. Your mission. Being on a mission is so very powerful. If we just talk about David here for a second, and we use big words to describe him, he was ostracized, he was alienated, he was outlawed. His own brothers didn't even like him, his own fathers didn't even care for him. And if you really search the history of David, David made a statement in Psalms saying, in iniquity I was shapen in iniquity, but I believe it's how it goes. In my mother's womb I was shapen in iniquity. And what it was really talking about is that David was actually the illegitimate son of his father. So David is living with his father and really don't even know his mother. And his father's trying to forget about his mistake, so he puts him out in the shepherd field. And this is the guy that was on a mission that understood his purpose. It eliminates every excuse you could ever give to me about why you can't do anything for God, or why you can't be successful, or why you can't come out of debt or lack or poverty or not enough or whatever it is, or depression or it eliminates every excuse for me, because it tells me there's nothing in your beginning that can affect your ending. It doesn't matter where you start, but it does matter where you end. Somebody say it matters where I end. And I'm so bound and determined not to be held back by where I am. We talked about Wednesday night. You can't allow your situation to determine your destination. I wish I had somebody in this place that could relate to what it's like to understand struggle, but not allow your struggle to become who you are, and have a heart inside of you that's passionate, that says, I believe God has something more in store for me than what I grew up in. Even though I grew up in it, it doesn't have to grow in me. That regardless of whatever I have to overcome, I'll bear crawl through the mud, I'll kick people, I'll karate chop you, I'll use whatever techniques I have to use to get around you, to get through you, because I realize that nothing can stop me, because greater is he that's in me than he that is in this world. And it excites me to understand that of all the people that could have been on a mission, it could have been the captain, it could have been the major, could have been the 5-star general, but no, they were all hiding in the ditch. And here's a boy, just not even a man, but a boy that rolls up on the scene that's been through something like killing lions. He's had bears attack him. I've never had that. I would take off running, I promise you. I hate to run, but that would be enough motivation for me to sprint like the wind, I'm telling you. But David was different, because he understood, while tending my father's sheep, no matter what comes my way, because those sheep, protecting those sheep are my mission, I've got to do whatever it takes to get it done. We don't have people like that anymore. It amazes me, because we're just people, they don't grow up like that anymore. Right. We find all kinds of excuses. Yes. Can I just be kind of mean to you? It's therapy for me. I love you. I really do. It makes me feel better. We had some people that told me that they would love to come and give out drinks when we did our outreach, but it was just too hot. And I just had to say, praise God. Pastor, I want to start a hospital ministry. Great, do it. But I want you to go with me. Hold on. I would love to do this, and I believe that you should finance me to travel the world. Hold on. People find all kinds of excuses in the world to not do what they're supposed to do, because it's so much easier to not do what you're supposed to do than face the opposition to pass through it. Did you know one of the wounds that Jesus had on the cross was called the perforated wound? It was a piercing wound that passes through. See, it would have been different if they would have just nailed Jesus to the cross. But it said they pierced his hands and his feet. To pierce means to pass through. And it tells me that what the enemy wants to do is to try to nail you to something, but he messed up. Because Christ already paid the ultimate price, that whatever situation you ever have to come through, because it said that it is by his stripes we are healed. Those are wounds, right? He was wounded from the top of his head to the soles of his feet in every area we could. So he was wounded in that area to tell me that we can pass through whatever we have to get through to get around to find our destiny. Somebody say destiny. People don't talk like that anymore, to understand that God has a purpose greater than where you are, but he has something for you on the horizon for tomorrow. And if we could ever understand, like Paul said, if there's not height nor depth nor things to come nor things present that could ever separate us for the love of God, we have to understand through the process. Paul was saying there's nothing that's going to stop God from getting to me. Then why is it I can find 101 Dalmatian things to get me from God that blocks me? I wish I could find some people that understood. If we got to climb over the wall, we're going to climb it. If we've got to go through the ditch, we're going to go through it. Whatever it takes, we're going to get through it. It reminds me in the Bible of a story whenever it says the woman was about to be stoned and all the Pharisees were standing around and because they caught her in adultery. And it amazes me through the process anyway, because you have to be able to actually be there to catch somebody in adultery, but that's beside the point. So what were they doing there anyway? But through the process, it said when others were standing up holding rocks, that Jesus stooped down and began to write in the sand. What does that tell me? It begins to tell me that if you pick up a rock to throw at somebody else's mistake, that's not what Jesus did. He stooped down to touch the mistake. And you know how we're going to get around things? On our knees, when we stoop down. When we begin to touch the people that's got things in their life that's messed up. I'm trying to help somebody today, because if you're not careful, your mindset will become so judgmental that you will miss your mission altogether. I'm going to talk about the mission in a second. I'm talking around it. But we have to be a church. We have to be a people. We have to be a Christ-like people in the sense that instead of casting rocks at everybody else doing things wrong, we can kneel down and help those that are hurting. Because forever the altar is supposed to be a place of laying things down, right? And if you lay it down, you kill it yourself. We talked about it last Sunday. Nobody else can kill it but you, right? Yes. David was a man that understood what it was like to kill a lion and a bear. And when he saw a giant, something stirred inside of him, because he understood, for this hour I came. You know what made David famous in the land was that he killed a giant. So it tells me if you see a problem in your life, that's what will make you famous. David was not going to get famous because of how good he could play the harp in the shepherd's field. But let him overcome something that everybody else was afraid of, and then they started listening to him playing his harp. It tells me if you see struggle and you see obstacles in your life, it's simply training you for reigning to try to get you to the place. Because see, this is how God does it. He makes ways where there is no other way. And because David understood his mission, I don't have to go around it, but I can go through it. And if I can go through it, then God can get me to it. And if he gets me to it, he's going to bring me through it. So through the process, what happened was David overcame what everybody else was afraid of. He eliminated every excuse because he was on a mission. And because he was on a mission, it intimidated his older brother. It intimidated all those around him. And all those that were with him quickly turned against him. And what I'm looking for is a group of people that don't have to have everyone patting you on the back, telling you you're doing a good job. Everyone supporting you. I need somebody in this place that could stand up today and say, whatever the cost, whatever the price, I'll be here early, I'll stay late, I'll run the vacuum, I'll clean the toilet, I'll open up service, I'll run a camera, whatever you need me to do. I'm not going to allow anybody that's against me or anybody that's not with me to stop me from going through whatever obstacle I have to do to get me to the place where God said I'd bring you through it. Is anybody that's ever seen a Goliath in your life today? If you see a Goliath in your life, it's a direct indication that God has something huge on your horizon. Somebody say on a mission. I got some pages. Let me try to get it so I can let you go home today. On a mission. On a mission. It amazes me because did you know that everything that God has ever done in the earth, he's always chosen a man to do it for? That's that CD up there playing, I think. There we go. I had somebody oohing and ahhing in the place. It's all right though. Everything God has ever done in the earth, he's chosen a man to do it. And whenever I say man, women, I'm not leaving you out. The Bible talks about men because men was symbolic of their position. Since then, we've had all the women's rights movements, everything. We understand when God was talking, he meant you too. So please, don't make me repeat this every time I'm saying man. You're included, okay? Somebody say women. I'm included. All right. Everything God did, he chose a man to do it in the earth. When God began to establish humanity, he did it through the loins of one man named Adam. Guess what? He did it through a man. When God was saved the world from destruction, he did it through one man named Noah. Somebody say Noah. Isn't that amazing? When God cut a covenant with the human race of people and said that I